Hello there, and welcome to the Webtool response entry tutorial for worldwide views on climate and energy. My name is Hans, and I'm going to be your guide during this tutorial. I'm here to give you a short overview of how to enter the responses into the Webtool and make them publicly available. Since every citizen at the meeting answers questions using paper and pencil on physical voting slips, you'll need to type these responses into the Webtool to make them available on the internet. To do this, you will need to know a number of things: how to log into the Webtool, finding your way around the Webtool, manage typing the votes into the Webtool, and finally, I'll elaborate a bit on how you make the responses available on the public internet for everyone to see once you have typed them in. First, let's log in. I'll assume that you have been given a username and password. You will need to go here. When you do, you will see this login screen. I'll type my name and password. Notice that if you tick off the box below the form fields, like this, the browser you are currently using will remember that you have logged in, so you'll not have to do it the next time you go to this page in this browser. When you have entered the username and password, click OK to submit your login. You are now logged into the Webtool and looking at the Start page. Let me just give you a short overview of what you are looking at. Please have a look at these links on the left side of the page. When you click them, you will navigate to different sections of the Webtool and see different content in this area, depending on what link you have clicked. The information link at the top leads to the page you are currently at, and the logout link at the bottom will log you out of the Webtool. In between, you will find 6 other links. The first 5 each correspond to a thematic session held during the meeting. The 6th represents the evaluation questions, but for the purposes of this video, we will call them all session links. As a vote reporter, you will be given a stack of voting slips to type into the Webtool that have been filled out by a citizen. This is what the 2 first pages of a voting slip looks like. I would like to ask you to pay special attention to a few things on the voting slips. Firstly, every voting slip should have an ID number, and it is very important that you type this in correctly to ensure the integrity of the results. The ID number tells the system what citizen filled out the forms on this piece of paper. Without this number, the answers cannot be tied to anybody and will be worthless. So please, make sure it's there. On the first page of every set of voting slips handed to a citizen, it can be found here, alongside with 2 special fields to fill in the citizen's age and gender. On the rest of the pages in a citizen's set of voting slips, it can be found in the top right corner here. The voting slip for session 1 might look like this when filled out. To type it in, make a mental note of the number and name of the thematic session on the voting slip. You can find it near the top. This number and name will correspond to the link you will have to click to navigate to the correct page to enter this voting slip. It looks like this is a voting slip for session 1. So I'll need to click session link number 1 to enter the response. A menu will pop out when I click the link. What I need to do next to enter the response is click the responses link. Note that it will not say demo on your interface. You will note that the page changes. What you see here is a currently empty list of all the responses to thematic session 1 that have been typed in. Near the top, you will see a button marked Add Response. Click that. You will now see that a form corresponding to the question and answer options of the voting slip appears. What remains now is to copy over the marked answers from the voting slip to the form. I think that's just about correct. When you're done, click the green button marked Save at the bottom of the form. Clicking it will return you to the list of all the responses to thematic session 1. When you see the text Saved flash on the screen, the response you just entered has been stored. Note that the list is no longer empty. It now shows your stored response. Should you at any point wish to see a response you have already typed in or change it, you can. On the right side of the list of responses you have typed in, you will see an action column with 2 links, Edit and Delete, one for each response. Clicking the Edit link will bring you back to this responses form, and you may change it as you see fit and save the changes. Let's try that. Now that I check, I see that I have indeed made an error in the response to question 2. Let me correct that. The response is now corrected, so I need to save the update data. This works just like before when I first created the response, except now the green button says Update. My response has been updated. Should you need to do so, you also have the option to completely delete a response. To do this, I simply click the Delete link in the Action column. If I make an error that the Webtool can recognize, like neglecting to mark an answer to a question, or if I tick off more answers to a given question than is allowed, I will be notified when I try to save the response and given a chance to correct it. So let's see what happens if I make a mistake in a new response. I will fill out the whole form, except I will neglect to fill out number 5, and I will tick off one more answer than is allowed in question 6. Let's try it. As you can see, I am not only still on the form, I have also received these 2 red boxes that indicate that these 2 questions have errors and have a small description to try and help you to correct the error. This I will now try to do. If I have done it right this time, no red boxes should appear and I should be returned to the list of responses. That's it. I did it right this time. But what if the voting slip you have to type in has missing answers or too many answers to a given question? Every question has an option that says, "Don't know, do not wish to answer." Should you be given a voting slip with an incorrectly filled out answer, please mark "Don't know, do not wish to answer" as the answer to that question. Although I have only added responses to the first session in this tutorial, you will find that the procedure I have now tried to describe is the same for any of the 5 sessions, as well as the evaluation responses. That's all there is to it. When you have entered all the responses that will come from a thematic session during a meeting, and made sure that the results have been correctly typed in, you are ready to publish the responses of the session. This will make your responses from this session publicly visible on the internet. At the top right corner of your responses list, this button will publish the results. It is a switch, so you can switch it on or off as you wish. It is important that you only press this button once all the responses have been entered. Nothing will break if you do, and you can switch it off again if you publish too early. But if you do, people will see incomplete results. Maybe they will believe that these are the complete results, which could lead to subsequent misunderstandings. So please, only publish a thematic session's responses once all the responses have been entered. That is all for this tutorial. I hope you have learned something from it and feel somewhat more confident about using it. Thank you for your attention, and happy response typing and publishing.